Can you hear me clearly?
Yep.
Awesome. Hello everyone. Welcome to Eve University's Introduction to the Low-Sec Campus. I am Professor Academiac, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what is low-sec space in general, what is the low-sec campus about, and what to expect when living in low-sec space and the LSC in general, how to lower the risk and survive and thrive in a hostile environment, and how to get to the campus. Then we're going to go out on a little Noobs on Patrol roam. Hopefully it will be fun. So, I've never FC'd before, so this would be my first time, but I've been on hundreds of fleets, mostly PvP. So I've been in the uni as well for almost 10 months now, a little bit over 10 months, and I've been playing this game for a little less than a year. So I would like you, in this format please, in the lecture.euni, to write how many months have been, or years have been, you've been playing this game in general, and how many fleets you've been on. Cool. So Mulder has been on one fleet. Nathaniel, have you been on PvP fleet? Cool. And, okay, so mostly new people, new players with little PvP skills, so that's perfectly fine. That's what we're here for. So I hope you enjoy this class, and I hope you enjoy your first roam if you're joining the roam. So, okay, so I would please like you along the way, if you have any questions or if I'm going too fast or too slow, please let me know, give me some feedback. Speak up and mumble if you want, but please have it set up to push to talk rather than voice activation. Or you can simply chat in lecture.euni. I will also be linking some important stuff in that chat channel. Okay, so welcome everybody. First things first, low-sec space. Basically, it's that space that more or less surrounds faction empire space. So if you look at the top left of your screen, if you're in Aldrat, for example, or if you're in any system, whether in space or docked up, you will see the name of the system that you're currently in, with a little colored number next to it, which is the system rating. So basically, system ratings range from -1 to 1. These are some examples of different types of systems. Mainly, low-sec space is between 0.1 and 0.4 security rating. This space is characterized by very low Concord presence. So Concord is fairly restricted to sentry guns that surround and protect stations and Stargate. So this is an example of UPH, the guns that surrounds the gates and the station. And mainly, the less security rating, the less the system rating of a system, the less guns are around stations and Stargates. So anywhere else in space, there is no Concord presence. So on belts and mission pockets, anywhere else, you will only have to be responsible for your own protection. However, these gate guns will somewhat protect you on gates and stations. They are they do not care about signature radius, and they do not care about tracking, so they hit at 170 DPS. So they're vicious for frigates and destroyers. However, cruisers and up can fairly tank these gate guns well, so they don't worry much about them. So that's a thing to keep an eye for. If you are on a gate and there is a cruiser or above camping the gate, chances are he might shoot at you, even though he will get attacked by these guns. So they provide a little bit protection, but they are not something to rely on. So basically, when someone aggresses in low-sec space, unlike in high-sec space, they get a criminal timer, and Concord immediately warps and kills the aggressor. In low-sec space, the aggressor only gets a flashy suspect timer, and there's no response except if they're on a gate or station. This is a very good read about timers. I will explain a bit about them now. but it's a good idea to have this link bookmarked and read about them if you're new to low-sec space. So when two neutrals engage in combat in low-sec space, the aggressor, the one who aggressed first, will get a suspect timer for 15 minutes and will lose a bit of his sec status. So first thing is the flashy timer. He gets this suspect timer for 15 minutes. This will allow anybody in the system to engage him without consequence. So even if someone tries to engage him on a Stargate or a station, the gates will not interfere. Concord will not interfere. And he will not lose sec status. If the aggressor pods someone or attacks a capsule and destroys it, he will gain a criminal status. This will also allow everybody to shoot him, but he can't also jump in high sec, because if he does, Concord will then attack him and destroy him. Flashy timers also include, or not timers, but flashy players in system also include -5 security status people. So people who have their security status below -5 will become perma-flashy, allowing anybody to attack them anywhere in space, consequence-free. Anybody have any questions about this? Cool. So, talking about sec status, if you go to your character sheet and check security status, or if you just see this image I linked about my own security status, this is what it looks like. So basically, when you run missions or attack NPCs, you are doing something good based to Concord, according to Concord, so that you get a little bit security status boost, and this number increases. However, when you aggress someone in low-sec space or engage in any other type of criminal activity, you lose a bit of security status. So if you see in my screenshot, I have combat aggression. This means I have engaged someone in low-sec space that wasn't flashy. So I became flashy and lost some sec status. In EVE University, if we are members, we are not allowed to go below 0. We can actually go below 0 up to -2 before the management starts letting us know and suspends our titles. If we go below -5, then we will have to be removed from or will be asked to leave EVE University until we repair our sec status. So in low-sec campus, as a member, we have to manage carefully our sec status. And I will let you know in a little bit how we do manage these security status ratings. If you're interested, this link contains some formulas about how much you lose and how much you gain sec status. So it's a good read. I suggest you read it, or bookmark it and read it when you have the time. So because we do shoot neutrals or non-flashy capsuleers in low-sec space, we always have to set our safeties to yellow. So when you are in space, beside your capacitor, there's a little green or yellow or red button, depends on how you set it. In low-sec space, we always set this button to yellow. This allows us to go suspect, but prevents us from going criminal. And this is the rules of engagement of EVE University. It's a good read if you want, but to make a long story short, basically in low-sec campus or in low-sec space in general, in EVE University, if it's not blue, we can shoot it. So if it's not blue or green or purple, then we are allowed to engage it freely. What this means is that if you look in local, for example, the system wherever you are, you'll see some player names. Beside them, they may not have anything beside them, which means they are neutral. Or if they are with you in the same corp, they will have a little green star. So we have different types of ratings. So anyway, if it's not blue, green, or purple, you are allowed to shoot it freely, so long as you manage your own sec status. And I will explain in a bit how to do that. So, any questions about these mechanics of low-sec space? Okay, so just a reminder to recap, if you are in a frigate or destroyer, beware not to shoot anybody that is not flashy. Even though you are allowed to shoot them, according to our rules of engagement. But if you are in a destroyer or frigate and you go flashy, that means that the gate guns will attack you. And because you're in a small ship, you'll not be able to tank the damage. So the only time I'll give you advice to not listen to an FC is when you are on a gate in a small ship, a destroyer or frigate, and the FC commands the fleet to shoot someone. If he is non-flashy, do not shoot him and do not listen to the FC. Otherwise, always listen to your FCs. Okay, so basically, because of this hostile environment, we have the low-sec campus. It's about living in a hostile environment, mutual survival, so we basically help each other out all the time and thrive. Doing things in low-sec space is high risk, high return. So the important thing is to learn how to manage aggression flags, and we do a lot of PvP and PvE together, so we learn these together in the campus. So it's about teaching new players the ropes of low-sec space and how to manage their timers, how to go on PvP and PvE fleets. So we live in a system called Euphilont in this station, to be exact. This is where the low-sec campus is based, and it's a very interesting system because it serves every purpose, every taste of play. So if you're into PvP, there are lots of PvP opportunities. If you're into PvE and missioning, we have everything that suits every taste in this system. And it's fairly close to other campuses as well. So it's mainly 8 jumps away from the LSC and a couple of jumps away from the high-sec group. So it's fairly close to everything. You can simply have the freedom to move around and engage in different types of game depending on what you want to do. However, the first problem you encounter when living in low-sec campus or in low-sec space in general is that the market will be probably not saturated as much as you want. So unlike in high-sec, you'd probably find whatever you need and you can simply move around and buy things at nice prices. In low-sec space, this is not the case. Yeah, and I'll let you, you'll have to move around a bit, and I'll let you know how to overcome this challenge, because we do have services that allows you to overcome these challenges in low-sec campus. So first of all, there is 2 jumps away, there is a high-sec system with a mini trade hub. So basically, trade hubs are big systems where players engage in trade. You probably heard of Jita and Hack and Dudixi. So 2 jumps away, we have a mini trade hub in the station, Stackmon, Moon 9. So you'll find some of the things you want in this trade hub, but still it may not be very cheap, or you may not find everything you want. So we do have a campus-sponsored hauling program. So you can go to Jita, which is the major trade hub in EVE, and buy whatever you want and make a contract using the campus-sponsored hauling program to move whatever you want free of charge to the LSC campus or Stackmon. This is a link of the campus service delivery. So basically you can go to the Jita, buy whatever you want, whatever capacity. So you have up to, I think, 100,000 cubic meters or something, and it's free of charge. So that's really, really helpful. Also, we have ships that we regularly fly, our most used doctrines. You will find them on contract in both UPH and Stackmon. So to access these contracts, I'll give you an example right now. You can go to the new com. On the top left corner of your screen, there's a little EVE menu. Go to business and then contracts. The extreme right tab, which is called available contracts, choose that and choose buy and sell. For the make sure you do not exclude multiple items, and for the availability, select my corporation or my alliance. Sometimes I'll set up these contracts as well, so make sure you check both, and click search. If you set it to all regions, you will see many ships on contract. If you look around, you will see some of them are on Stackmon and UPH. Basically, these are ready, fit ships, so you can quickly buy a ship, and it's already fitted, so all you need to do is fly it. So this is really, really helpful as well, because most of these ships, most of the ships we fly regularly are placed on these contracts. For example, the Magic Merlin that we're flying today are placed on contract. So if you don't have one and you're in UPH, you can simply buy one on contract. And basically, players put these on contract with very little markup, so it's not very expensive. Also in the LSC, if you want, there is 2 jumps out, a system where skill books spawn or traded by NPCs, however they're entered into the game. So you can buy them from this station, which is 2 jumps out, still eligible for the skill book program. So basically, these are some of the services we have in the LSC. Also, we do have hangars, corporate hangars, depending on what your title is. You get access to Alpha, Theta, and Psi hangars, depending on your title, and they're basically full of modules and hulls. So there is for quick reshipping and things like that. If you want, you're free to grab whatever you need from the hangars and use them, so long as they're for personal use. If you don't have access, you're always welcome to ask in comms or chat. For people will help you and grab anything you want from the hangars and trade them to you. So, any question, guys, about this? Okay. So basically, what to do in low-sec space. Whatever you do in high-sec, or you are free to do in low-sec campus as well. I'll start with PvE activities. So first of all, missions. We do have agents level 1 to 5 in and around UPH, and of course, running missions in low-sec is much more lucrative than it is in high-sec in terms of ISK and loyalty point. There's also combat sites and exploration sites. You can run these sites if you're into explorations. Also, players in the LSC will help you out with scanning down sites. So there is a corporate bookmark folder for LSC exploration where you will see already scanned down sites if you wish to run them. There's also mining and industry. So we do have some belts in the system, and we have an ore site and a ice belt site. You can mine if you're into that, and it's a good idea to mine when you are in the LSC standing fleet. That way, if you run into trouble or someone tries to gank you, LSCers will always be able to warp to you and defend you. And I'll let you know how to call for a QRF, or a quick response fleet, efficiently and effectively. And we always welcome people who bait for us in the system, because that brings us some good fights. Yeah, exactly. As Greslow suggests, and I do suggest that as well, whenever you are in and around at the LSC, always be in comms and always be in the LSC fleet. Even if you're running missions or doing your own stuff solo, it's best if you are because you hear things on comms, maybe some intel. Also, you'll be able to quickly ask for reinforcements, as I will explain how to do that in a bit. So, going back to industry and mining, we do also have an LSC industry program. So basically, I'll link the forum post about it here. And basically what it does is we have a library of blueprint originals that we trying to research to the max. A lot of the blueprints are already researched to the max. So you can copy these blueprints and basically run your own industry, whether for trade or personal use or whatever. So you can read all about it in this forum post. Another way for PvE and to make ISK and also to maintain your security status is an activity called ratting. Ratting is warping belt to belt, looking for PvE NPC rats. Some of these rats are called clone soldiers, and these, when you kill those clone soldiers, they drop a very expensive tag, and they also give you a boost to your security status. So first, when you kill them, you get a security status boost, and then they drop a tag. This is one. This is another one, and there are multiple variants. So basically, these tags, you can either use them to repair further your security status by exchanging them with Concord, or sell them in the market for ISK. They go to about 20 mil a pop. Yes, for new players, clone soldiers are a little bit hard to kill and a little bit tricky, so I suggest not killing them in frigates, but killing them in at least destroyers. Also, when you are in the LSC and around, you always call clone soldiers and battleship rats out, because people will come out and help you kill it, and you will all share the security status boost, and you will get to keep the tag because you called out the clone soldier. So it's a win-win for everyone. So as I said, these tags you can trade them for ISK in the market, or you can exchange them with Concord, as I linked in the image. For example, maintaining your SEC status between -5 from -5 to -2, you need 6 transporter tags, and from -2 to 0, you need 4 negotiator tags. So you can either rat and get these tags, or you can just buy them off the market and to repair SEC status. And you have to do that in a concourse station. The closest one to the LSC is Olbers. There it is, I linked it. And it's a good idea also, if you're going to sell them, to sell them in the Concord station, because people will pay a little bit extra for convenience. So instead of flying around getting cheap tags, some people are lazy like myself, so I just fly over there, buy the tags, even if they're a little bit expensive. So it's a good way to make ISK as well. And this is a very, very good post on our LSC forums. I do suggest that you look around in the forums, especially in the LSC forums, if you're planning to stay there. There are many, many good advice and many, many good posts about many different things. And this is one about ratting. It's a very good post with some advice on how to approach the clone soldiers and what to do and how to kill them, etc. So yeah, basically to sum up, anything you can do in high sec space, you can do in low sec space with a little bit more risk, but much, much higher return. And always stay in LSC comms and fleet when you are doing your PvE stuff, because as I said, people will be very, very helpful. So any questions about this? No questions so far. I'm either a very good teacher or a very bad teacher.
I have a question actually. About you mentioned about the policy about attacking other people in low sec, so we can attack anyone who is not an alliance. But so is it happen? I just like, well, I'm a new guy here, but why would you go and attack anyone around who is?
Okay, so why do we attack other players? Basically to get good fights. Living in low sec is a good training for PvP. PvP, many players find PvP activities very fun. So we always go out on roams and we go out on fleets looking for good fights. We sometimes find some people on gates or running missions or whatever, and we try, or running faction warfare as well, and we try to gank them, so because it's fun. Sometimes,
okay.
Yep, and sometimes they are baits and they bring up their friends, which is very good as well, because we get to learn how to fight them, and we get good fights that way. So living in low sec is about harassing other players mainly.
Okay, so I guess anyone moving to low sec is like looking for adventure or for a fight, basically, more or less. If they don't want, they stay in high sec, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So PvP is by default the major activity in the LoSAC campus. And this is why people come to the LoSAC campus to learn mainly PvP. Other things like PvE, other activities, you can learn them better as well in the LSC. If you want, you can get into them, but the major activity and the main objective is to learn about PvP.
Good, thanks.
Okay, so for PvP, you can do many things for PvP if you want in the LoSAC campus. First of all, as I said, we are in faction warfare space. This is one of the good things about the system that we are based at, UFLON. It's a part of faction warfare, the ongoing battle between Caldari and Galente. So we do have some faction warfare plexes that spawn in the system. Let me link you that. So if you take a look at this image that I linked, you will see some, this is the probe scanner, and some of these sites just spawn. They are called anomalies, and they do not need to be scanned down. And as soon as someone warps to them the first time they spawn, they become available on everybody's overview. So you will find some of these to the left in the probe scanner. Some of them are available on the overview, which means someone had already warped to them before, at least once. And others are not available on the overview, which means they are still closed, or nobody warped to them yet. These faction warfare plexes have unique characteristics and unique mechanics, which I will not explain now in this class, but I will explain them vividly in the fleet, because they are very important things to learn. And this is basically where most of the LoSAC fights happen, in these plexes. So either try to attack plexers or faction warfare people who come and try to flip systems, or they are part of the faction warfare, or we just fight other LSC gangs, LoSAC gangs in these faction plexes. And the reason is because of their mechanics, of their unique mechanics, because, for example, in novice plexes, only frigates and faction frigates are allowed to enter these plexes. So destroyers and above cannot enter these plexes. So even Tech 2 frigates cannot enter these plexes. So this brings a bit of a fair fight somehow. So if you only want to fight frigates, you go to a novice. So I won't explain much more about them, but they do bring us a lot of good fights. Yes, Navy, as Serene said, Navy issue frigates, which are faction frigates, can enter novice plexes. And as you go up, for example, small plexes, only destroyers and below can enter, even Tech 2 frigates can. But beyond, I don't think Tech 2 or Tech 3 destroyers can enter. I'm not sure. Anyway, mediums take cruisers and below, and large take anything. In EVE University, because of the mechanics of the game itself, and because of the mechanics of faction warfare, we are not part of faction warfare. You can have an alt, and he or she can be a part of faction warfare, but your E-University character cannot be a part of faction warfare. So we are neutral to the faction war. We do sometimes fight militias, but not because we are part of the faction warfare fight, but just because we're looking for fights in general. This is a very good map that shows the Galente Caldari faction war, which goes around our system. We are part of it because we live in Newfoundland. So this is a very good map, and we use this to roam around and look for fights. Okay, Satigo says that my voice is not very clear. Does anybody else have this problem? Okay.
It's coming pretty good to me.
Okay, I do know there's a problem with the server that management are trying to solve, but this should be for everyone, if that's the case. If it's just me, okay, is this better? I unplugged it again. Test 1, 2, 3.
Loud and clear to me.
Okay, so I apologize if you can't. I'll try to speak slower then and repeat a little bit. If you do miss something important, please let me know and I'll explain it again. I'll be happy to explain it again. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so as I said, these faction warfare mechanics, I will not go in details about them now, but you will have to learn them, and especially if you are living in low-sec space, they are very, very important. Same as the gate mechanics and timer mechanics. So these two things are very important to learn if you are planning to live in the low-sec campus. So, as I said, the rest of the PvP activities that you can do is simply solo. So you can take a ship, roam around, look for fights, look for someone in a plex or somewhere, anywhere, or you bait yourself. Become baits, sit on a plex and wait for a fight. This is a very good way to learn about PvP. And always people will give you advice on how you did. Even people who attacked you, not necessarily LSCers. So LSCers will help you out with fits and where to go and what to do, and will give you some advice. Even some people you fight around UPH are very, very good fighters and are, as we call, frenemies. So they are friends and enemies at the same time. They will give you advice on how well you did and what you can improve and things like that. So it's an excellent learning opportunity. We do baiting as well. Sometimes we send a mining ship or a hauler or even a small attack ship or frigate in a plex, and we bait and we form a fleet, wait for someone to try to attack it, and so we do that sometimes. But mostly, what happens in most of the time is small gangs and large fleets. So small gangs are maybe up to, I want to say, 10, 15 people roaming around in low-sec space, in frigates, destroyers, or whatever, and look for fights. This occurs many, many times every day in the LSC. We go out, look for fights, and learn about PvP. Also, often we do have large fleets. These are 20-plus people in a fleet. Sometimes we go up to 150 or 200 people per fleet. And we go out in a huge fleet looking for bigger fights. So sometimes we have them organized or pre-planned with other entities like RVB or other frenemies like Waffles. And we go out and have a lot of fun with these big fleets. They are very, very fun. The best thing about fleets and about group PvP in general is that if you lose a ship when you are in a fleet, if it's cruiser or below, you will be eligible for a ship replacement if you lose your ship. So this is the ship replacement program. So basically you can take a ship from the hangar, fit it up from the hangars, go have it blown up in a fleet, and basically Eve University will pay you another ship. So it's an awesome opportunity to learn basically for free. Serene Catello asks, does that include the modules? No, but if you insure your ship, you will get a little payback when you lose your ship. So basically the insurance covers the cost of the modules and Eve University covers the cost of the hull. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's a good idea. It's to learn. It's a very good program to help people new players especially learn about PvP without worrying about ISK or without worrying about where to get these ships and modules. So basically you're blowing up ships for free. We usually don't care about losing ships. What we do care about the most is learning. So yeah, it's good to make mistakes. It's good because each mistake and each time you blow up your ship is a lesson learned. However, for this ship replacement program, make sure that you follow the instructions and read carefully because some ship fits have certain requirements to be eligible. First of all, solo PvP is not eligible for a ship replacement program, so it has to be a fleet, a group fleet, whether small gang or large. And some of the ships have requirements, mainly Tech 2 ships. For example, interceptors have some requirements for fitting, and some ships are not eligible. So make sure you read them. But mainly most Tech 1, frigates to cruisers are covered with the SRP. So what roles can you play in small gangs or large fleets? There are many roles. So first role is Logi. We do love our Logi. Logi ships are ships that help their friends repair their shields or armor. So they basically keep the fleet alive, and these roles are really, really appreciated. They have a perk because they do not get on any kills. So whenever we go on a fleet, Logi will be added to all the kills. So basically, when the FC reports the fleet at the end, they will report who was Logi, and these Logi will get automatically, it will be added by management on all the kills. So it's a good perk as well. Other roles like Tackle. Basically, Tackle's responsibility is to accompany the fleet and try to hold down enemies and prevent them from warping out of the field. They may have some DPS or guns fit to them, but their major role is not DPS. Their major role is just preventing others from warping out or using their micro-warp drives. So scrams and points are very important. DPS ships or DD ships are ships that deal damage. So DD is a damage dealer. These range from anywhere from frigates, cruisers, or whatever, destroyers. And these are the ships that actually are responsible for killing enemy ships. So, for example, in my little fleet today that's going out, we do have Logi, which are the bursts. We do have Tackle, which are any ship with a scram or web or point sword. And DD ships are basically the Magic Merlins or the Merlin fits. Other roles like E-War, we do sometimes have E-War accompany fleets, especially when we are fighting war targets. But usually when small gangs, and we do not let E-War accompany us because it drives others away. It's a turn-off for others. Some people do not like to fight gangs who have E-War frigates along. So usually they're good to learn and they're good to know. I do fly them a lot when I'm doing large fleets, when I'm joining large fleets. But in small gangs, it's better not to have them. So even if you are in a tackle frigate, you can play very active roles on the fleet. So, for example, there are scouting roles. Scouts move ahead of the fleet or back of the fleet. So either +1 system. So in the next system that the fleet is on the destination or on the route. So they go in, check if there are enemies, check if there are fights, check if there's anything dangerous or anything juicy to kill, and they report back to the FC. So it's a very, very important role. It's actually the most important role in a fleet. And you can do that whether you are very experienced or whether you are very new to the game. So it's a very, very good role. I love to scout all the time. Another role is Vanguard. We may have that in today's fleet. I'm not sure. We'll see. But mainly Vanguard are a small group of ships that of different types. For example, it can have DD, Logi, and Tackle. And they form like a mini fleet. This mini fleet jumps ahead into the system, go find fights, let the other enemy fleet commit to the fight because they think that's the whole fleet, and then the rest of the fleet jumps in and blobs them. So it's a good way to get others to commit to fights before jumping in the rest of the fleet, and they just simply see the numbers and run away. So it's a bit tricky. So these are the many, many roles you can play in PvP. You do not have to be very experienced. You do not have to have the best ships. Even the smallest ships, the smallest tackle frigate counts. And even if you are in a small tackle frigate, you can play very, very active roles for fleets, and that will be very appreciated by everyone else. So, fits. fits that we use for ships are mainly listed in this website. So you can basically sign up for this Fleet Up website and using your EVE University or using your API, and you can access all the fits that we regularly use for actually all types of ships, and see whether you can or cannot fly them and what skills that you are missing and things like that. So it's a very, very helpful tool. And these mainly are the ships that are available in more or less on contracts in and around UPH. So we do have contracts, as I explained, in UPH, and we do have contracts in Slackmon. So they mainly are based on these fits that are on Fleet Up. So, any questions so far? Is my voice still clear, or does it cut up? Am I breaking up? Okay, perfect. So, the last thing I'm going to talk about today is how to lower the risk, because low-sec space is very hostile, as I explained. There are many things we do to lower the risk and minimize it. We cannot prevent all risks, but we do give some advice about lowering and minimizing risks. So the first thing I would suggest is never go AFK in space, even if cloaky. We never know. You never know what's going to warp onto you, even if you're in a safe. Maybe someone will scan you down if you're not cloaky using combat probes. So never go AFK in space. Never ever use autopilot. And I suggest not using autopilot at all, even in high-sec space. Never use auto-target. So if you click on press escape, go to general settings. In the middle column, there is in-flight. Beneath it is auto-target back. Make sure that this is set to 0 targets. And this is because the idea behind this auto-target is when someone locks you, your ship automatically locks them back. But this is not advisable, because if we do have Logi or friends that is locking us to help our armor and shield, we may get confused, and if we lock them automatically, we may not notice, and we start shooting our own Logi, which happens. So it's advisable to take care and set this to 0, just to keep our Logi safe. Another thing is to always set your safeties to yellow. If you have them on green, maybe some neutrals will have the advantage of attacking you first. But if you have them on yellow, you can actually attack them first. But remember, do not attack neutrals on gates or stations. And so always try to understand and keep up to date with low-sec mechanics. For example, faction warfare plex mechanics and timers and aggression timers mechanics, suspect timers and criminal timers and the such. So you won't be an expert overnight, but it will come by practice. And it's a good idea to read those those posts I link you on the eUniverty. Another good thing is fleet discipline. So this is Fleets 101. It's a class. I do recommend you trying to attend it. And it's a very good regarding what commands to expect and when to talk and when not to talk and things like that. It's very important and can keep your friends safe. I will run in my fleet, in my Noobs on Patrol, the basic commands, and we'll go through them. It will not be a Fleet 101, but it will be very new bro friendly. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask in the room. But understand basically the difference between yellow and red box. Yellow boxing means targeting someone, locking them. So on their overview, they will see you with a yellow box around your icon. This means that they just locked you, have you locked down, but they did not engage you or aggress you. Red boxing means that they have committed to the fight. They have actually started aggressing you, whether by guns or by scrams or whatever, any aggression module. This means that they will get a weapons timer which prevents them from jumping through gates or stocking up in stations. So it's very important to know the difference between yellow and red boxing. Because depending on this information, the FC may jump in fleets or may ask the fleet to warp away or may give commands based on this information. Basically, trust no one in local except your fleet mates, of course, and people in EVE University. But if you see some neutral in local, always assume that they're trying to find you and kill you. Keep an eye on local. Keep an eye on your DScan. This is a very important tool, DScan. There are some classes about them, about how to use it effectively. I do suggest that if you're not up to date with this tool, that you take this class. Oh, sorry about that. Did you lose your ship? Okay, good to know. So, keep an eye on DScan. If you're riding in belts or running a mission or whatever, DScan allows you to see ships around you, what ships in space. So, it's a very good tool to try to avoid or actually look as well for fights. So, whether you want to avoid or look for fights, this is a very important tool to learn. Another thing is bookmarks. Bookmarks are especially important. Like they're important in high sec. They're recommended in low sec, and they're crucial in null sec. In low sec, because we get some war targets, and because everybody's hostile anyway, it's a good idea to have instant docks and instant undocks for the stations you frequent. It's a good idea to have tacticals around gates, so you can warp to gates and see who's there before you actually warp the fleet or before you actually jump through the gate. When ratting, it's a good idea to have tactical bookmarks above or below or in any random direction from the belt. So instead of warping belt to belt, when someone can simply warp on top of you and scram you, it's a good idea to warp to a tactical instead. So bookmarks are also very important in low-sec space. And always join the standing fleet if you are in or around a UPH, and always stay tuned on Mumble. This is because now I'll let you know how to call for a QRF effectively. So for example, you're running a mission or you're mining in a belt or raiding or whatever in UPH, and somebody jumps on top of you, a hostile, and tries to aggress you or kill you. What you do is, because you are already in fleet and because you are already in comms, you go break in comms. So basically you are telling people to stop talking. You have something important to say. So you say, break. This is Professor. I am being aggressed on belt 4-1 by a confessor. I am in an algo. So this is a very good example of a QRF call, because it contains very important information for the fleet. It contains who are you. Some of the players do not have overlay set up properly, and they do not know your voice. So it's a good idea to always refer to yourself in the third person. This message included as well your location in space, and what ship is attacking you, and what ship you are in. That way, people have an idea of what ship to use to counter that aggressor, and how long they expect you to live. So they just won't warp the wrong ship or just keep feeding the enemy kills if you're going to not last very long. So it's not a good idea to go, help, I'm being attacked. It takes a little bit of practice to keep calm and calling for QRFs calmly and effectively, but it's really important that you learn how to do this. So these are what we do basically to lower the risk in the low-sec campus and to help each other out. So basically every QRF call, if effective, will be granted, or people will always try to help you out. Does that make sense? Any questions so far? Okay, that's great. So if you are going to live in the LSC for a while, if you're going to join us, by the way, you are free to join as many campuses as you want. You are not restricted to just the LSC. But if you are going to be in the LSC, I suggest that you join this channel. This is what we use to communicate if we are not in the LSC fleet. Also, there's a mailing list with this same spelling, and it gives out regularly some important information to the LSCers, and it helps us communicate to each other. Also, we have an Intel channel, LSC Intel, that we use to share intel about war targets and other hostiles. And we use this. Please, if you're going to join us, just say hi in the Hi and Bye forum. Let us know who you are and what you expect from living down there in the LSC. And also, it's a good idea to check around the LSC forums. It contains a lot of useful information to help you out. And this is the LSC wiki page. Give it a read if you have the time. It has some important information as well. So, any questions about this class, guys? Anything that wasn't clear? Or okay, great. That concludes the theoretical part of this class. Thank you, everyone, for listening and tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any feedback regarding the class, please, I ask you to write it in the forum. So just go there, replies, tell me if I did a good job or bad job or terrible job or whatever. What do you think can improve the class? And if you have any suggestions and things like that, would be really appreciated. If you are not joining us for the fleet, thank you very much for listening. And if you are joining us, we'll be taking a 5-minute break. Then we'll start heading down there to the LSC. So, thank you everyone, and see you in 5 minutes.